Good morning, YouTube. It is Saturday, 8 a.m. and we have one car scheduled for today. It's just a full interior cleaning and a wash and wax on an Audi A5. So in today's video, I'm going to take you through a bit of the detail of what we have going out there, give you some updates around the business, around the shop, around what we have going on, and kind of have a more old school feel to this video, like my old ones of when I actually go out to the field, record, and whatever. So sit back, relax. It's going to be a short one, but a good one. So I guess one update I can give you is that we are doing a lot less mobile work than we are doing shop work. And there's a big difference because at the shop, we can have three or four customers in one day. And if all three or four of us are here, it's you can manage it pretty easily. But when you're mobile, I mean, you have one job at one location and that's it. So I would say we are leaning much heavily towards shop work. Now we're gonna give up mobile? No, because one, it's like, that's my roots, right? That's what that's where we started. But then two, it's still a great option. And if it makes sense for us to go mobile, we're still gonna go mobile. And before we continue with the day, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Jobber. Now, we've been using Jobber in our detailing business for the past 3 years to schedule all our customers and keep track of their information. Now, before Jobber, I was just using Google Sheets or a Google Calendar to keep track of things. And when you're first getting started, it's actually not that bad. I recommend you get started with something free. But as you get more customers and there's more information to manage, meaning their address, their email address, their home address, the apartment address, the different vehicles, the different services, at that point, it makes sense to get a more robust solution to help manage your business. So that's what we use Jobber for. We've been using them far before they became a sponsor. So if you want to get a free 14-day trial plus 20% off your first 6 months, you can click the first link down in the description box. Thank you, Jobber, and let's get back to the video. Man, I will say though, driving out, being mobile, yes, there's a lot of negatives to it as far as like the weather, the driving distance, but man, it's always like, after a while, just working at the shop, it gets mundane. It's the same shop, you're in the same setting. The biggest thing I like, or one of the things I like about mobile detailing, is that you're always out and about. You're going here, you're going there, you're looking at new neighborhoods, areas, you see new things, you stop by new places. So there's definitely a lot of pros to having a shop, don't get me wrong. But to just drive, especially when it's nice weather or places you haven't really been, like, it's very nice to go out and be mobile as well. So and another part on why we won't give it up is that you can always create other opportunities, right? Whether that's through simply having another crew run it, maybe that's just optimizing the SEO side of things to draw more traffic. And the big thing that we do is like, hey, if someone contacts us for mobile work, but they also want like a coating or a smoke odor removal, that gets funneled down to, hey, bring it to the shop because we can do a much better job here. So let's say someone contacts us for an interior cleaning, engine cleaning, and paint correction. Now, paint correction and smoke odor removals, those are done at our shop. So what would have been a mobile job, we talk to them, communicate, turns into a shop job. Okay, so the interior is done. Now remember, when you hire someone new, there is like a 30 to 60 day learning / grace period. Here it took us like an hour and 30, but that's because a lot of times we're still, well, Lex is still teaching them a lot of things. Hey, this is what we do with the machine. Hey, this is what happens if this happened. Hey, like this is what, like, so it's still a lot of on the job learning even after a day of training. So naturally your process will slow down a bit because you're getting that person up to speed. But after 30, 60 days, once they understand the process better, once they understand your system better, then that's when you really start moving faster and everything is just operating at a much more efficient level. So if you hire someone, just know there is gonna be a grace period, even with the editor. I don't expect him to know what we're doing or how I do things or like, you know, move fast. The first 30 to 60 days, it's applicable to every single position. So the mobile setup is a bit different than the shop setup. We kind of have two sets of brushes, but in one bucket instead of two to save space. We do have the AR650 pressure washer, which is way better than the two Karcher 1700s that we have at the shop. But this car, like the wheels here, because there's three of us, the wheels took like 5 minutes to do. I will say a huge benefit to the AR650 is that you can regulate the PSI. So on the door jambs, we lower the PSI pressure. That way we don't create as much splatter on the interior. So that is a big benefit to this pressure washer, regulating the PSI. Okay, and that wraps up for me here. All they have left is the paint prep and then the application of the sealant, which is the Jescar Power Lock Plus, which is gonna take no time whatsoever. They should probably take like another 5 minutes and then they'll be out of here. And then that's it for the day. Easy, simple, nothing crazy. And it is now 12:30. Obviously I already changed. The mobile team is back. They already prepped. And we're kind of done for the day. That's kind of intentional. We don't want to book out a shop and do a bunch of things because we have Angel and we're still training and such. So that's a very important thing. Like, you got to be mindful of, you're gonna have to slow down your pace in order to catch them up. So then after that 30 to 60 day time period, you can move faster. So now it's just gonna be Lex catching up on some calls. I'm gonna do some emails and help him out, and then work out. And that's gonna call it a that's basically the end of the actual like business hours on a Saturday. So quick update on everything is that we did hire 2 people. There's a not full-time, a part-time editor that helps me with all the YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok creation, and that has helped out a lot. And it goes back to the same thing I was telling you earlier, that there is that, you know, 30, 60 days that you just, like the first 30 days I literally did less because I was putting, you know, I was catching up to speed on the multiple channels, the accounts, like this type of content, how I shoot, how I edit, and like just getting up to speed for there. And right now we've hit like that second wave of, okay, now that you kind of get the gist, we've set up the systems in place, like now it's like, okay, now you're kind of moving a bit more. So I'd say like maybe at the 90-day mark, that's when things are like, oh, okay, now we're actually moving together much more fluidly, and it's not so much of like you depending on me, it's more so like this is just what we're running. And the same thing, how I talk about how we have systems with the detailing business of this is how we detail a customer's vehicle, this is how we, you know, prep the van, this is how we talk to the customer, this is, you know, there's a system in place for everything. It's the same thing on the content side. Like, there's no difference. Whenever you hire anyone for any position, you gotta set it, you gotta put them into the system. And if you are hiring your first person, you need to have a system in place. The system can literally be, you know, version 1. Right, and after 30 days you reiterate it. After the second day you reiterate it. After the 90 days you reiterate it. It is 100% true that when you hire someone, having a system in place and having SOPs in place is a big deal, and it is a dramatic difference on how you're able to onboard someone. So that has helped out a lot, and hopefully I just continue to expand that, because one thing I am doing moving forward is really building out like a media team, because there's a lot of content that we can get and capitalize on because of our detailing business that we can kind of go into a lot of different channels. But it requires focus, it requires resources, meaning money to supply all that, to support all that. But I can already see, like, if, you know, a media team with like 2 to 4 people running like 2 to 4 channels can make like a big difference. We did hire another entry-level detailer, but the team isn't growing. It's staying the same because Alex, who you've seen here on the channel, is actually leaving. So we hired someone else to fill that spot in. We actually, based on how we've been working the last few weeks with 3 people, it actually kind of makes sense to hire someone else as well. But for now, it's kind of just Alex is leaving, and then Angel is working with us to fill that position as well. And then for a second, I did think about, should we do like tent and PPF now that we're like primarily shop? But that was a quick thought, and when I think about it even further, like, the shop isn't set up for like more cars and more space. I know it sounds funny, and I don't, like, based on what I'm trying, again, like, every business is different. Like every person, every business, every shop is gonna be different. And based on like what I want to do with the shop and such, it's just right now we don't have enough space to add like PPF. But other than that, it was just a nice little video to share with you guys on this Saturday. Let me know in the comment section down below, you know, what you guys want to see or what you guys are interested in. Like, I have a lot of ideas in my head as far as content and what I want to try and do and execute, but then there's this thing called resources, and there's only so much about this that I can actually get to. So there's a lot of ideas in my head, especially like over the next 5 years of like what I want to do. But it just, again, requires the biggest thing, like resources and discipline to focus on the right things that actually push things forward versus just doing things that looks nice but doesn't actually, you know, reach your objective. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys want to see on my side. But if you want to download the ultimate guide to start your detailing business, you want to check out my podcast, the Detailing Business Class Podcast, or you want to check out Jobber, where you can get a free 14-day trial plus 20% off your first 6 months, which is the software we use to basically run our entire business. You can check all those links in the description box down below. Thank you very much, and it's time to go work out. Bye.